Hi, my name is Dhanraj. I'm an acupuncture and a natural therapist. In this video, we are going to see about brain waves and its different types. We all know that our brain is comprised of billions of neurons which communicate each other based upon the thoughts, behaviors, and emotions of the individual. So these neurons communicate through a modem called a synapse, and in order to take a profound action based on the thoughts and behaviors of the individual. So this communication happens in a specific pattern, or we call it as a frequency. Nikola Tesla once said that if we want to understand about universe, we need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Similarly, if we want to understand ourselves, we need to think in the pattern or frequency about these brain waves. Uh, Scientists have generally stated that there are now four major forms of brain waves, and let's see one by one now. In the morning, when we wake up, our eyes begin to observe the daylight which is available, and this daylight enters through our optical nerve, reaches the pineal gland, I would say. This pineal gland is responsible for secreting a very important neurochemical called as serotonin. So this when this serotonin secretes in the brain, it moves through our brain and the body. It hits the neocortex of the brain, which is responsible for the conscious behavior. So when we wake up, we see things around. We see the clock, or we hit the alarm button, and then we will plan for the day. So we will see whether we wake up at the correct time or not, and then we take our action. So it based upon our morning routine, etc. So this is very important thing. So this is where the first kind of brainwave starts, which is called as the beta brainwave. So this beta brainwave is responsible for us to make our daily activities. Whereas at night, when the lights are off, this neurochemical, the serotonin, which has been available all through the day, because the daylight is available all through the day, and we will keep on working our daily routines. Once we have done with our daily activity, when we retire to bed, so we tend to switch off the lights, and this serotonin, now the lights are off. So this particular neurochemical serotonin gets tweaked again, and it converts into melatonin. So that is why we get sleep. So people may tend to go deep sleep based upon the day's hard work, etc. So when the eyes are open, the serotonin gets secreted based upon the daylight, and when the lights are off, like when we retire to bed, melatonin gets secreted, and that's the reason we go and sleep. So this particular thing, like where we have in the beta brainwave, assume we wake up, we do our morning routine, etc. People, some have a habit of during doing a meditation, pranayama, etc. So when we sit and close our eyes, so our body is still, but the mind is awake. So when we sit for meditation and close our eyes, we cut out from the outside world. So most of the things which we perceive or observe is only through eyes. So when these eyes are closed, most of the interaction with the outside world is cut. Yeah, we do have some interaction with the outside world through our senses, through our feel, or when we hear something, etc., or smell. So there are some interaction with the outside world, but most of the interaction is shut when the eyes are closed. So when you go deep into meditation, we cut out from the outside world, we go to inner world, which is the microcosm. So from the outside world of the macrocosm or the universe, you go inside you, which is the microcosm. So this is where the brain waves start to slow down. From a beta brain wave, slows it down, and that is called as alpha, where our body is at rest, a deep rest, and whereas our mind is awake. We are still, okay, so we are grounded. So that is where the alpha brainwave begins to operate. So this alpha brainwave, I would say, is the gateway to enter your subconscious mind. So this is very, very important brainwave. So when we go into sleep, when we say, discussing about like the lights are off, you go into sleep, or I would say like, a deep sleep where you may have some kind of dreams, etc., where your body is asleep, but sometimes your mind is awake thinking about, past or future. So it tends to keep on awake and thinks about a lot of thoughts. So this is where the theta brainwave operates, which is much lower frequency when compared with alpha. So beta is like kind of a higher frequency. Reduce it down, you have an alpha. Then you go your body in deep, kind of a sleep. Your body sleep and your mind is like in a bit of awake, thinking about various thoughts. This is where the theta brainwave. So it goes, a much deeper into subconscious. And the last is where you have sometimes people tend to skip and move into a deep sleep where they will not have any dreams, I would say. So this is where the highest form of, or deeper form of brainwave occurs, which is called as delta. And this is the place where healing and regenerations of all cells, tissues, etc. will happen here. So this is called as per the neuroscientist, they call it as restorative sleeps. So there is no, dreams about it, but you have a higher, the brain waves are slowed down. The frequency is very slowed down. It is used for healing and regenerations of our body, muscles, cells, etc., etc. So yogis, meditative experts, etc., will try and ask us to go deeper, deeper, deeper into this particular stage so that our cell regenerations will happen and we try and achieve our desires. So when we wanted to compare this particular thing with our, in a life of a particular individual. So when a baby is born, when it is 0 to 2 years old, it will be in, kind of a delta brainwave, because most of the, time the baby sleeps. So it's in deep sleep. So the cell regeneration, healing, or, it tends to activate all the organs. So it's in deep sleep. So kind of like, around 0 to 2 years, also like, kind of 3 years as well. So between 2 to 6, it is in kind of the subconscious is getting open. It is in kind of theta. So it goes into, kind of vivid dreaming, like, it observes some information from the outside world, mainly from their parents and loved ones. So it tends to see, recognize people. So it tends to observe and stores those informations into its brain. The subconscious is open, is highly open until, I would say like, 9 to 12 years. So 2 to 6 years is where the theta brainwaves is operative. So it tends and observes the information, stores them in the subconscious mind. Somewhere between 7 to 12 years is where the alpha brainwave starts, because you have an interaction with the outside world. So you go out, see, you may get some friends, you may see, a lot of interactions with the outside world. So you get those informations, store it in the subconscious mind, and then retrieve the data, retrieve and act. So we recognize our, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, etc. So we have a, interaction with our families and friends. After 12 years, we get most of the information through our education, knowledge, etc., and where the beta brainwave starts, where our, subconscious mind tend to, react very fast based upon a situation. So if if you could see a kind of a fire, you try to act immediately, etc. So this is where the brainwave pattern opens up. So after, I would say like, 25 years, most of the individuals will have most part of the day or most part of their life running on beta brainwaves, because you get a lot of information now until you're 25 years of old, like, you get education, you are into a job or you start a business, etc. So you have your set of things already, inbuilt in your mind, and it gets interacted with, when you interact with other people. But there is a, all the chance that if we can go back to those lower frequencies where we can change, restore, and heal our, thoughts, behaviors, etc., in order to achieve our goals. A lot of things are there. One way I would say is through meditation, where you go deeper into your, slow your frequency, slower your brain waves, and then change your thoughts or change your interactions. Second one, you go into brain, you go into deeper into your, at least to your alpha stage, where you sit, meditate, and reduce your brain wave. Do a lot of self talking, do a lot of self interaction with yourself. See, like, what can be done right, where are you now, and where you want to reach. So what is the action which you can take now in order to achieve that particular goal or the desire. Okay, so this is where we tend and we interact with the people. So I would say, like, these particular brain waves. So most of the part, like, we have our beta brain waves. Sometimes when we have anger with people, so it is a beta brain wave, but it will be on a higher frequency. So in that particular frequency, we may not believe, or we may not able to hear or listen to any of other people's words, or sometimes even we will not hear our own thoughts. We cannot able to control our own actions as well. But later we now tend to repent based upon that. So understanding our brain waves or the frequency of those brain waves is very vital for us in order to improve our self improvement, I would say, and in order to achieve the goals. I hope you would like this video. Please share your thoughts, comments, questions, etc. into the comments box. I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you. Have a nice day.